Hey guys, I wanted to pop on because I wanted to follow up with my Loving Your Kids video from yesterday, because when I was filming that, it was like Grand Central Station and I felt like I had to kind of end it abruptly. In fact, the very end of that video doesn't quite make sense if you were paying attention and you got all the way to the end. So just to bring to tie it up in a bow, the part of loving our kids in the way that they interpret and feel love. You're observing, you're listening to your kids. Here's a really good trick. The way your kid expresses love to you is a very, very good indication of how they like to be loved. That's not always the case with adults, but with kids, it's almost always the case. So if your kid is constantly writing you notes, pay attention to that. They are either thoughtfulness or words. Words matter to them, or thoughtfulness. Those could be their thing. If your kid is constantly touching and hugging and kissing on you, I have a couple of those, then they certainly love affection. If they're asking to spend time with you and good to go places, that's them. So it's talk, same as adults. It's the whole love language, and I think there's actually a love languages for kids if you wanted that as a supplement to this. But talk, which is words of encouragement, that's filling them up. They like to be touched, hugged, kissed, affection. Time. And time is interesting for girls, females. If you just notice out in public, when women get together, we huddle, we get in a group, and we're face to face. When you look at boys or males, grown men, they can line up at a bar, and at the end of the night, they're like, that was great. And they couldn't tell you what their buddy was wearing. Not even a little bit, because they're shoulder to shoulder. That's how they spend time. So your son could literally spend a day with you in a car going somewhere, and at the end of it, they're like, that was fantastic. And you're thinking, as a mom, I don't get that. But to them, it was time. It was shoulder to shoulder. So touch, time, talk, acts of service. That one's a little iffy with kids. I'm not sure if we see that until they get older. That might be something we see when they get into high school, college, where acts of service means a lot to them. And then gifts. I know as parents, you are thinking, oh, my kid is definitely gifts because they love when I give them a toy. Well, every kid does. And who doesn't? We all like to get new stuff, and we love the dopamine that we get when something's new or given to us or exciting. So be very, very careful with that one. I would say that that's kind of what's happening with parenting today, is we're giving our kids a lot of stuff in place of the other things where they receive love, and kids they're not getting enough, because we can't give them stuff constantly. So I would be very, very careful to identify your kid as they like to get new stuff. But thoughtfulness, watch how they are. If they are always or often demonstrating thoughtfulness, then that could certainly be the way that you can fill their love bucket. But so my first thing is watch and observe, how do they express love to those closest to them, grandparents, parents, their siblings, that kind of thing. So that's number one. Number two, so we're filling up our kids through the way they interpret love. They receive love. That's how we love our kids. Number two, environment. And this one is really key. Please tune in here. Environment. The environment that we create for them. We send them to school, we put them in sports and music and all of their different activities, but are we providing a community that's healthy for them, where two things that's important, and it really key, two things with this community that we need to be providing for our kids: a community that is constant and a community that is non-competitive. So 3 C's there: community that's constant and non-competitive. What do I mean by that? We need to be providing an environment where our kids once a week or twice a month at least are in a community that the same people are always there, that's constant, especially when they get into middle school and high school, where this is human development, so don't be freaking out on me. When kids are getting into middle school and high school, they are looking for other types of influence outside of the nucleus of their family, mom and dad and their siblings. And that's okay. What we want to do as parents is provide community that is going to supplement what we've been trying to instill in them and create that. It's like a bridge for them. So A community that the people who are pouring into them isn't changing every 6 months or every year. The way I went to school and the way my husband went to school, and probably you went to school, we had maybe the same teachers through 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then they changed again in high school. Now you get this, the teachers are all 6th grade, and then brand new for 7th grade, brand new for 8th grade, and on up. So there's no constant there. The adults in their life aren't constant. We want to provide community where the adults or the people pouring into them are constant. It's so important. Number 2, non-competitive. Our kids need community where nothing is expected of them to perform, to measure up, to be competitive. Sports are fantastic. Music is fantastic. The hobbies, the things that they are doing are fantastic, and it's fine for them to have to perform and do that, but they need a community where that, I mean, think of you as an adult. There's got to be a place when you enjoy community where something's not expected of you and you can just be you. Our kids need this. So I'll give you 2 examples of where you might find it, and then I'm going to leave it to you to try to explore it some more. Number 1, church youth group. Say what you will, and there's exceptions to every rule. We're not talking about that right now. Church youth group, those people are there to invest in kids. 99% of the time, you've got grown-ups who are there really because they just want to pour into kids, and they will stick it out through your kids' middle school years, through your kids' high school years. It's a constant thing. It's a good community for them. It's non-competitive. Nothing's really expected of them except to just come, and they are just going to love on your kids and pour into them. So that's one. The other is a hobby, a true hobby, not something competitive, such as a horse stable. Your kid loves horses. They get to go to the stable, not to do competitive jumping. Sure, that can be the other part of it, I guess, but that they are just going and showing up, and they're helping, muck out stalls and brush horses, and they're learning from the people who love horses, and they're learning something, and they just get to be. There's no competition there. So it's a hobby. So there's a hobby that your kid likes that isn't expecting something for them, expecting them to perform or to compete. We've got to love our kids in the way that they receive love. That's the 5 love languages. And number 2, we've got to love our kids through providing the healthy environment for them, which is a community that's constant and non-competitive. This has been a lot, and I hope it's been good for you. If you know some parents, please pass this on, because I think this is really, really good information when it comes to parenting and loving our kids. Hey guys, happy Wednesday, happy hump day, and see you soon.